Hello guys and welcome back to another video. Today we are making a trailer home and community park all in one kind of. Now you see that I've already had like a lot of base stuff done, and that was because I started working on this in the car coming back from a road trip and camp that I did down in North Carolina. So I just started making this house without even thinking about maybe recording it, but once I started to see that it might turn out good, I started recording it. But it's I basically made a trailer home for 3 Sims, and a community lot in one, and you'll see the base ending later. But I got this idea semi from James Turner. I was watching some of his older builds, and he made a trailer tiny home, and I really enjoyed the idea of that, so I tried to mimic it a lot and just add my own flair. I'm not the best at community spaces, but I started like diving through debug a bit, and I found these cute little trailer things, and I'm like, these are so awesome. I need to make this into like a community food van area with like seating. So that's what I end up doing. And there's a nice little gateway into the trailer home. I'd like to imagine that the people in this trailer home run the park. They have a nice car. Now I do use custom content slightly for this. It's not like any thing that stays in the build. It's just the OMSP shelf, which, as you guys might know, I use to clutter up areas. And I also use some of TMX's stuff, like sorted debug, and always move objects, always testing cheats, stuff like that. Just making the building cheats easier to manage. Now I start with having this, like, a family on this lot that I made a long time ago, but I delete them just because I was having fund issues. I wanted to make a nice community garden, but there wasn't enough space, so I ended up just deleting it. Sorry. But yeah, the story with this build was I was coming back from a small vacation. It was a 16-hour drive down and a like overnight camp at a Christian place because I am Christian. And I spent a week there. I went back for the weekend to my hotel that my parents and dog were staying at. And then I went back to a sister camp that was in the same area. But on the way back, I just didn't know what to do, so I ended up building in The Sims because I'd been yearning to build something. I was inspired by architecture. So I just ended up making this. And I think it turns out really nice. I add a movie theater in the back. So it's just a large community lot that somebody lives in. But there's, a movie theater area at the back with cabinets and like machines. And I use the trick again where you like put the appliances on an island and then shrink the island down so you can free place the thing. It's a really handy trick, but I don't remember which sim YouTuber I watch I get it from. Otherwise, I would definitely credit them. Sorry, my throat has been odd. But I end up using that trick just to add all the essentials. This is a very multi-packed build, but it uses a lot of Eco Lifestyle, Dream Home Decorator, and one other thing that I can't quite Movie Hangout. Really, but there aren't many. I mean, there are lots of small like detail packs, but it's not a lot. And the debug is mostly from base game, which I quite enjoy. The big debug parts. Now, up top, I wanted to make it like a dining area, kitchen maybe, but I ended up making it a bedroom with a desk and like toys for the kid. I imagine that there was a child sim that lived on the top, that slept on the top bunk bed, and there was two parents in the bottom bed, or one parent, whichever you wanted to choose. Um, so yeah, and one of them does like online stuff or whatever really. Um, the kid is really smart, I imagined, but also loved playing with toys. There's lots of books scattered. I think the upstairs is definitely a lot more cluttered, um, like with the bedroom, and I think that's the same deal with a lot of people's houses, and even in real life, is the bedroom is a lot more cluttered than the living room because when you bring people over, you want the living room to be nice looking. Now, I definitely think that this trailer has not been moving for a long time because otherwise you would not have such a large amount of free, like floating stuff. It would fall over. And like, I added a car so that they could probably hitch it up, but to be honest, there's no space backing up or going forward. But you can see I'm adding the toys and lots of clutter. I use this Parenthood. There's a decent amount of Parenthood in this, but not a lot. It's really just for the upstairs. I'm still using a lot of Dream Home Decorator, just because it's still such a new pack and the furniture is adorable. Well, not adorable, but it is beautiful looking. Now, I am very much looking forward to the release of Cottage Living that comes out in like 10 days, I think, because it's the 12th when I'm recording this. I kind of wanted to base this build originally off Cottage Living, but I end up not doing that. Now you can see I'm finally moving on to the downstairs area, the part that's actually the trailer. The bathroom took me a while to figure out platform-wise, because like, if you're taking a shower with a university shower, you don't want the water leaking under the door, so I try to lower it, but taking a direct step down looks kind of weird, so I lowered the living room, and then I thought, wait, the water is still going to drain. So that's kind of a problem. But one thing I will note, Sims team, if you're watching this, which you're probably not, the Dream Home Decorator rug, specifically the one I used in that living room, seems to like float above the floor, and it makes the graphics look really weird, like it's not actually attached to anything. I would advise fixing that only because it looks like really weird. But I use these Dream Home Decorator kitchen set with just the base game appliances because I have already complained about this a few times in other videos that I might or might not have posted. But the Dream Home Decorator pack does not come with a fridge. It is one of the only main appliances that it doesn't come with, which troubles me because none of the fridges besides Snowy Escape actually match. And I don't want to use that Snowy Escape fridge all the time. But like I said earlier, I use a lot of Eco Lifestyle in this build. And that goes for windows too because Dream Home Decorator does not have windows either. And I like to bay window stuff. I add some clutter on it. I just imagined it being such a nice place to look out. And as there are only 2 windows in this entire build, I wanted it to make it look good. But I also use these Snowy Escape rugs as like a doormat on both the upper level and the lower level. Now I have shoe clutter on the upstairs, but not the downstairs. And I meant to add some on the downstairs, but I'm just going to imagine like where I'm building this from, like the timestamp is like they just went up to go to bed, so their shoes are at the top. But as you can see, I'm starting this movie area. I don't end up finishing it. I just add like the basis, but we got lots of chairs and a kind of arc pattern, like most movie theater, like outdoor movie theaters are. And I just grab a lot of different chairs, comfortable looking ones, but not couches. And I find the same item, but like in the actual game, not in debug. So I switched those out. Um, anyway, I get like clutter or whatever. I add this heater. So I do use a decent amount of snow, like a small amount of Snowy Escape, but if you didn't have Snowy Escape, it would probably be fine. Your main ones are Eco Lifestyle and Dream Home Decorator. But I'm just decorating this thing. Now, this build isn't super long. But you see, I'm just like, I scrolled a lot through a lot of catalogs for this, and I think I found some pretty good stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna take a quick pause for recording because I have to go do something. Oops, that was my computer. So I'll be right back. But you see, I'm cluttering up the window now. Okay, I'm back. So you can see I'm cluttering up this window. It has some plates and napkins and like utensils because you kind of need that. I saw that there wasn't a lot of storage space in the kitchen area, so I just thought, okay, this is where they keep like their makeshift stuff. But we've got this table. It's bar height, so I'm not sure if the child can actually sit at it, which is okay because they can also eat at the couch. That's why I'm not super worried about having a dining table. But one thing about this build that I found quite peculiar for me, and it's actually the reason I started recording, is for most of this build, I used this orangey, like, slightly less orange, but mostly orangey wood tone. And I never use that wood tone. It always looks weird to me, but I used it actually as my my main wood tone in this build. So I just wanted to record that to show like, hey, I can do a lot of different things. But I had these pipes are also in the bathroom, just because it's a little more realistic. I found myself doing that more often. Uh, but we're also adding a toothbrush onto this shelf. I've seen Simlicy do it, and I think it's a really good idea. But I'm fixing something that happened to the upper level. I don't know why everything shifted over, or some things, but I just had to fix it quickly. It was probably me moving walls or whatever, but I'm adding like this shelving unit for the kid. It's like partially for the adults because there are a few papers and stuff on it. But then I start seeing like kids' toys, and I'm thinking this kid does not have a lot of stuff to do. Let's add some toys for them. I had these Yamachi figures or whatever they're called, and Siminis or whatever, Sim somethings. But you collect them, and I thought if I got like Father Winter and Mr. Mayor Whiskers and a golden gnome, I thought that would be like a cute tiny collection. I had this school project on top and like a penguin stuffed animal, just a bunch of different decorations. I had a playset on the porch like area. I have not tested if Sims can walk by, but basically playhouses are able to be played with whatever size they are because the Sim never actually touches the thing. They just play with dolls around the house. I had like books and a cow plant like thing and a Millennium Falcon. I always get tripped up on that word. I also had these rugs just because grass doesn't seem very comfortable to watch a movie on. And then the build is nearly done. I'm just doing a lot of terrain painting, finishing up the area. I could have added more bushes around just because like it's very flat or a lot of flat. But I just added lots of dirt terrain paint because I imagine this not being like super decorated. Like pavement wise, but I'm just like fixing some things up. I had to do walls, of course. My apologies for those bells. That's for my dog. But walls just blank white, and I end up adding a fence where the truck is, but that is almost it. I add a feature wall in the living room, but this fence and this video is basically over. Thank you for watching. Stay for the screenshots.